Okay, I'm back. I was just like, wait, they're going to the zoo. They should have their jean jackets. Caroline's still texting. Alrighty, let's get. Oh my god, I haven't actually gotten the post up. I'm like, I'm live, yay! Nothing else has happened yet. Although apparently you are joining me anyway. Hello. Let's get this posted here. So we are going to be working on pockets first, and then we'll be going in and doing other shit. I did get all the, so last night Dallas ended up coming in at like 9:45. I thought it was on the early end of 10. Turns out it wasn't, obviously. So when we got home, I was pretty toast anyway, because obviously I'd driven in and come back, blah, 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 blah. Poor me. But anyway, I didn't get as much work done as I thought last night. I did get all of the notions pouches turned, except for this one, because it actually needs a little bit, I need to add a little bit of a seam in there. All the pockets have been top stitched, and I started putting them into the interior, so that's what we're going to do. Hello, my dear, how are you today? I'm just posting the link so that people know that I'm actually live, and then we'll be getting down to business. We're not defeating the Huns today, though. All right, and this is all in service. We've got Peace Fibre Festival on Sunday, 11 to 5, and Dawson Creek at the Dawson Creek Curling Club. Slowly wrap up on sewing. Oh my god, not seeing, sewing. Okay. Bye. Have a good time. Dallas and the kids are going to the zoo, and then the youngest actually has a hearing appointment. So we are making the Kato bags, and right now what we're doing is we're doing pockets. I'm not going to do that right now. I am thinking that we're going to go in and actually wedge everything right away. I wasn't doing that last night because some of these pieces were larger, and I was like, oh, that's not going to work, but I think we should go in and do it today because it does make it so much easier to place pockets than the guesswork of not wedging them. So we're going to line up some fabrics and wedge. I think I can do like 6-ish. I was definitely saying in the cell phone parking lot last night, waiting for him and trimming all of these. And I'm like, wonder what anyone thinks, because my like scissors were like flashing in the little bit of darkness that we had. I was like, oh my god. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, so like in this case, this back piece is like 1 inch and a bit too large. So I definitely want to trim that down before we commit to getting the wedge in and all of that. I'm going to line it up with the back pieces because they are actually more accurate. And then, yeah. What are you working on today, my dear? Or are you just here to hang out? Which, honestly, either is fine. I love when people just come to hang out. So we're pretty bright and early. I thought that I had a 5 mile or a like mile base run yesterday. Turns out it was a marathon or half marathon pace run. I'm like, oh, okay. 5 miles on top of it. I was like, fuck. Very tired after that. So I told the program that, and it's like, you did amazing. Even though I was like a minute slower than I was supposed to be. I'll take it, whatever. But then on top of it, today he wants me to do a base run. So what's going to happen is I really want to run outside today. It's absolutely spectacular out, but I'm not ready to run right now. So I'm going to stream through lunch, eat, and then go for my run. And then I'll be back this afternoon to like continue. Dallas has the kids all day. So I'm just on my own, doing my own thing, getting shit done. Hopefully, mostly. Okay. Yeah, so we'll deal with this pile that hasn't been wedged, when we pull it off of the machine. So, because right now is not the time to deal with it. And we still have a significant number of these to trim. So this is going to be the slow start for the day, and then it'll pick up after this because we got to sew them in, and then we'll actually create the pockets, and then we'll be doing stuff. I was very sad. Dallas went out for his run, so I was hanging out with the kids this morning, which is fine because that's how I got all the notions pouches turned. But I went in and like deleted a bunch of videos and everything like that because I was like, oh, I need to clear out space on my hard drive. And then I was like, I'll work on the welt pocket video that I recorded the other day. Yeah, it's gone. I deleted it in that purge. And the way I deleted it meant that it like didn't stick around in trash or anything like that. I'm like, fuck. So welt pocket video is incoming, but it's going to be delayed until I'm doing mini travelers things again. Maybe I think I'm going to try and do a batch of them for Otafest, which means that I'll re-record it then, I guess. I don't know. Super annoyed. It's just like, of course. Murphy's Law. It's what happens when you go too fast on things, I guess. Boo. Okay. That is the line here, so I'm going to trim that down. The other part of this is trimming this down means that it should, in theory, fit into the bags better. Obviously, a lot of this will get fixed with seams and everything like that, so I'm not overly concerned. But yeah, we definitely want the wedge to be as close to accurate as possible because that will allow for it to fit into the exterior correctly. So, and then I did actually do up a little mini to-do list for what we need to do, and I just realized I forgot. Oh, no, I didn't. We need to, like, wedge the other bags and shit like that, too, so. Go. All right, this will help, because like I said, I was, like, doing it this way, and I'm like, oh, this feels really, really difficult, actually. It wasn't, like, ridiculously difficult, but it definitely was not as easy as let's wedge it and then like just measure up from the wedge because that's normally what I do with the pockets and that's how I would recommend doing the pockets on this. Okay, those are like bang on. Sweet. Anyway, so that's the way of it. Did get to bed at like 12:30, so I definitely got more sleep than I normally would right now. Which is good. This program is still like, you fucker, you're still going to run 10 miles tomorrow. You cannot skip this long run this week. And I'm like, okay. So tomorrow morning I'll get up and I'll run it right away. I'm just going to do a treadmill run tomorrow. It's like, I can do like 4.5 miles outside pretty easy. But I definitely want to do like, I just don't want to add any time onto an already long run tomorrow. So I'm like, I'm going to do it on the treadmill. And I'm just going to put on a movie. So that it doesn't feel like I'm wasting time. Entertain me. Not that, like, running is not a waste of time, but it's like, I gotta distract myself from the fact that it's 2 hours that I could be sewing. Dallas is always like, you can't just sit at the sewing machine. I'm like, I know, but I've had limited time this week. Easter being in the middle of this prep was brutal, to be honest. So at least next year, it'll be earlier in the month. It'll actually be over what is typically Shindig weekend, which hilarious. So still kind of brutal, but at least it'll be over by the point of like getting ready for Hanami, as long as Caroline hosts again. I'm gonna assume she's gonna host again. We haven't discussed that, but I hope so. I like that event. Yeah. Should text him and make sure that he fills the truck up today too. Find the cheap gas in Calgary. Fill the truck. That one didn't get cut in half. We'll rectify that. Okay, sweet. Well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I guess you're new to the channel, so we may as well do the whole spiel. I'm Katie. I make bags, obviously, from Japanese fabrics. Go to Japan and purchase them in Kyoto and Tokyo. And why I do that is because when I was originally starting out making project bags and stuff like that one's too small. Shit. I was looking for cute cat fabrics, and I'd been an exchange student in Japan. I went, do you know what? I bet you there's cute cat fabrics in Japan. And here we are, like 10 years later, still going to Japan for fabrics, because lo and behold, they have them. And going myself is cheaper than me importing the fabrics by about 40%. So that's why we still travel there to actually purchase the fabrics. Plus, you know, the horror, I have to go to Japan for my fabrics. Oh no. But I did my exchange in Hirakatashi, which is a city in the Osaka prefecture. It's basically right halfway between Kyoto and Osaka. And so that's partly why we typically go back to there. And obviously Tokyo, because they've got that massive fabric district. There's a couple new shops I want to explore next time I actually go to Japan. There's a big, like, massive Yuzuwaya in Tokyo. So that's one of the places. And then, yeah, I'll be doing like Tometo and a few other shops in Nippori as well. That's looking like it's going to be in, everything points towards, well, we're just going to do it. Doesn't matter, but it'll be February of 2026 as long as the children do not personally victimize us with the preschool germs, because that's what's been happening this year. Yay! I'm giving a thumbs up. It's not yay. I am so sick and tired of being sick. It's not even funny at this point. So, damn it, children. It's not their fault. But my God, our kids cesspools of germs. So, yeah, so right now we're like going along, and we're prepping for Peace Fibre Festival in Dawson Creek. So my main market's knitters and crocheters. I make project bags for them. I was a knitter, I am a knitter. I used to knit for sale, and that's just not the way to make money. Honestly, sewing bags is sometimes not the way to make money either, but they do sell better than the knitting does, which is good. Yeah, so I pivoted, and part of it is also I want to reclaim knitting as my hobby. So that is what it is. I definitely have not knit as much as I have previously because, again, aforementioned children. We're just getting out of the jungle gym stage, Mama's jungle gym. And yeah, working towards figuring out what I even want to make anymore, because I've got a shit ton of projects that, like, I haven't worked on since the kids, and now I'm like, my like priorities or my desires for what I want have shifted. So trying to figure it out. We'll get there eventually. Or I might pivot on the craft and figure it out too. So I do want to go through and actually destash a lot of the yarn that I had bought previously, simply because it's like I'm not going to knit 25 pairs of socks necessarily, at least not right now. And I know yarn doesn't go bad, but I do think that it's time to just like, I want to get rid of another half bin, I think. Maybe a full bin. I've been like de-stashing slowly the past couple of years, and it's just like, so I do it when I'm like feeling emotionally ready and like mentally ready. It's mentally taxing to get rid of clutter. It feels amazing afterwards, but it's just like, ugh, I don't want to deal with you right now. Okay. So yeah, I'm just trimming up the linings. I am precise enough, but typically that does mean some cleanup in this stage. And like I said, that's part of what I needed to do. Couldn't do in the truck last night. Nice. Crochet is fun. I have one quilt top that I've had done for like 10 years, and haven't finished it yet. It's sitting in the back room. I should finish it because I've never made myself a blanket. I've knit everyone else a blanket, but I'm like, well, let's finish this quilt for me. It's really happy. It's a jelly roll quilt made from like the Moda strips from Best Day Ever, which because it's a Tangled reference is one of my favorite references. Super bright and happy. But yeah, there's a few, again, preciseness is not exactly my thing, which is why quilting doesn't work very well for me. Just like, nope. But on that note, it's like there's a few squares that need a little bit of TLC before I go in and actually quilt the thing. So, like again, I figure I'll get there. So, yeah, so basically right now what I do is I live stream my work so that it keeps me a little bit motivated. I get to hang out with people instead of just staying in my basement by myself. Which sounds like a dream until you're doing it like every day sometimes. So the YouTube channel has actually been really good that way. Although it has been the running joke for years of like, even if a show is terrible, it's like when people ask you about it, it's like, I always made the joke of, well, at least I'm not at home talking to my cats this weekend, which honestly is true. And now that there's kids in the equation, it's like, well, like I'm talking to adults instead of just preschoolers this weekend, which is always nice. Okay, there we go. So that top piece is the measurement we want for width. So I'm just going to stack the last few pieces here and trim them down, and then we'll go in and wedge everything. And then we'll sew the pockets to it. And that one piece that's like a little bit too small, we'll just sub in with another piece if I need it. I think I probably will, but we'll just ignore it for now and we'll steal it later. Mostly because it's like, it might be involved. I'll double check to make sure, see if it's actually too short or too much too short, because there's a difference. There's like a too short amount, or there's the amount where it's like, okay, we can make that up in the seam allowances and the bag will still be fine. So there is that too. So yeah, and as for markets and stuff like that, it can be daunting to get into markets. You really have to find the markets that work for you. And so that's why I ended up in the knitting and crochet sphere for project bags, is because that's where the market was for me at the time. I am currently diversifying my stock and everything like that. So we're working towards getting like handbags and wallets and like more everyday items that have more mass appeal as well. But the nice thing is that I have this like secure, or mostly secure, kind of audience that lets me kind of start to diversify my portfolio. So, all right, there's the last trim down across. I'm only going to do like half of these because honestly that was too much for my hands. My hands are cranky because we've been doing a lot of cutting. Not as cranky as they could be. I've definitely had worse, but less layers will make them happier. Yay! I should have gotten a caffeinated beverage before I came downstairs. I did chug like the very last little bit of coffee, but not doing it right now. So I might run out for a Diet Coke here soon. Coke Zero, I guess. Is a little bit of a difference. Okay. Those are not even. We're going to make this as even as we can at the bottom here. Here's the thing. They don't need to match each other, but they do need to match at least the piece that I'm going to sew them to. So, doing our best. Doing our best. I keep forgetting that actually we did also do logo tags yesterday. So, like, typically in the past I would be gluing them on, but we interfaced all of them on yesterday. And so in some ways that's going to save us quite a bit of, like, post-sewing time, which is really nice. Okay, I'm going to match these ones up. Again, just... here's some variance in all of them, so we'll just make sure that these are a little bit closer to each other. It's a gorgeous day here, which is why I'm going to go out for a run at lunch, because I'm like, fuck yeah. I don't want to do 10 miles outside, but I'll 100% go do 4.5. If you were here yesterday, I was all like, yay, base run today. It's going to be 4 miles and easy. Yeah, no. I ended up on a pace run, and I was like, holy, no. No! I did it. I did it very slow, though. I was like a minute slower than I was supposed to. Actually, okay. I hit the actual half marathon pace that he wants me to be doing. Oh, yeah, that can't be made up in the bag. Never mind. So let's actually, we're going to snag one more lining piece. I'm going to snag one of the white ones, just because. May as well. It's right here. Make sure that it's actually at the right height. Again, close enough. That's closer than what it was. Is it the correct width? Again, we can make it work. Good. Whee! All right, so there is the last lining prepped. What did we figure out? There's like 49 Kato bags this time around. No, 46. 46 Kato bags. We just finished 23, so we doubled that number. And then we've got 49 small box bags on the docket. Small box bags, there's a whole list of stuff we have to do. So, all right, there. Come on, clippy, 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 clip. Thank you. I do think that there is a match to this short piece in here as well, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. These ones that have already been sewn, I'll go in and do. Oh, sneaky cats! They pulled the thread to the front. There we go. Now it's in the back again, so it doesn't wrap around the wheel because we don't need that today. All right, pockets into Kato. First step. Then the next step will be, bottom seam of pockets into Kato is the first step. And then the step following that is going to be sewing the pockets and sewing the interiors. And then we'll go in and we will top stitch small box bags and then go on from there. So what basically it is these pockets go 1 inch above the wedge. And that's why this is easier to have cut the wedge first and then sew the pocket in, is because then I can just line it up with that pocket edge. Previously, I was measuring up from the amount that you wedge or box, and then the amount that the pocket's supposed to be above that. So that's why I was a bit like, ugh, this is too much work, especially since I still have to go in and cut the wedges now. So may as well cut the wedges and then install the pockets. I don't know. Anyway, we were chatting about when we actually need to leave on Saturday. It's not an ungodly hour. It's like we don't need to leave until just before 7, which is awesome. Setup is on Saturday night. Well, okay, I think we're gonna go throw everything in and set up like the bones of the setup on Friday, and then we'll go in and we'll do we'll set up the bones of the structure. Sorry, I'm trying to not sew over my fingers. Obviously, that is taking more concentration than normal. Set up the bones of the structure, and then setup is on like Sunday from 8 till 11. Dallas has old family friends up there. They were in a band, and so I have a feeling they're probably going to jam on Saturday night because they're all up in Dawson Creek randomly. So that's pretty cool. And the kids have never seen them jam, so I don't want to miss that. Dallas did talk to them, and he's like, please wait for us. Like, it doesn't take us long to set this up. And I was like, yeah, like, thank you. It works well. I like it too. It helps, like, top down. I also like the side view that it gives too. But right now I'm just like, I am not messing around with camera views. We can be fancy when we're not trying to sew so much. Just broken my bobbin thread. Excellent. Sarcasm. Oh, good God. Okay, there's the bobbin case. Where'd the bobbin go? I see the thread. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. That could have been far worse. Yeah, mountains are still looking spectacular. All right. Bobbin, bobbin, bobbin. Thank you. Okay. Pocket back down underneath and go. Zoom, zoom. This pocket definitely. Could I clip these? 100%. Am I? No. If you're new to bag making, please do. Please follow the instructions. It will make your life easier, typically. Do as I say, not as I do. Honestly, it would probably be faster for me to go through and actually clip them in, but I pretend it doesn't. It's faster this way. We'd still be fussing with it, so it's like, honestly, if I don't clip it in, I don't take the time to, like, have to clip it and unclip it. That's the big thing, so. And then after Dawson, I think next week is going to be a pretty quiet week because Dallas is on vacation. That's his actual vacation week. And so I want to actually spend time with him. My God. And then the following week, I think, will be photos. And I'm saying that like I'm going to do an update before Otafest. I'm not doing an update before Otafest. Although I guess if I did, I would have, like, it doesn't matter because I'm going to barcode everything. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Oh, yeah, I still botch bags, whether I follow the instructions or not. It's insanity some days. Most of the time, those end up in timeout. Some of those timeouts end up being like 6 years, 8 years. Shit, those Sheena that I didn't finish yet, I didn't botch the bag. But I haven't touched them in 8 years. Oh, no. Okay, that will be first priority for Otafest sewing is finishing those Sheena. They need to go under and get some proper interfacing in them, and then we'll go from there. They'll be gorgeous once they're done. Also, I still want to try that new crescent bag as well. I know that I parking padded everything yesterday, but it's like I'm trying to remind myself that we need to do those things before Otafest. Rather than cutting new ones, at least. So, also I want to try the zip and grip as well in Obi. We'll do the cotton one first, and then we'll probably go in and do Obi ones because I think they will look fucking amazing. So. Once we're through all this like dark blue marble, that'll be about just under the halfway point, which is nice. Probably a third of the way in right now. Just always feels like it takes longer because it's like 2, I guess. I don't know. Okay. No, it just feels like it takes long because it is long. So my eldest today was like, but you're coming to the zoo. And I'm like, no, you're just going to go with Daddy. And then the youngest today was like, yay, you're not coming to the zoo with us. And I'm like, all right, good to know how you feel there. I'm actually excited that Dallas is taking them to the zoo because it's usually, like when we're doing the solo parent trips with them, it's usually me doing them because I'll do it on his like day flying in or out. He has met us down there as well. But he's never been to the zoo by himself with them, so that'll be good. They're going to enjoy it. So. Because he was like, can the eldest come with me to the appointment? And I'm like, yeah, I don't see, like, you don't go into the room with them. Outside of, like you observe the appointment, because it's a hearing appointment, from, like, a window. I am located in Calgary, the Calgary area in Alberta. So I'm in Cochrane. I'm a half hour outside the city, basically. Right on the edge of the Canadian Rockies. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the mountains. I can see them out my window. Because we're in the foothills. Austin. I've heard really good things about Austin. My massage therapist actually did a trip down there, and she said it was really fun. This was like years ago, so. Where? Yeah. So, yeah, I guess you're probably not coming up to Dawson Creek. You're more than welcome to. But everything is available, or will be available after the show online as well. So, and yes, I'm still shipping into the US because things are consistently changing every day. So it's just kind of like, I just have to chug along. Yeah, we're extremely spoiled with where we're located. Nice. Isn't the slogan like keep it weird? Right? Is that Austin or is that somewhere else in Texas? Yes, okay, cool. It's like I'm pretty sure that's the one I remember. I like keeping it weird. Okay, good. Whee! Oh boy. Yeah, I definitely need that break next week because I can feel that I'm hitting the wall with this. I know I hit the wall last week because I ended up making those luggage tags instead of sewing the things I needed to sew. So we know I have, which does happen occasionally. But yeah, definitely like a few days off. I'm going to do maybe a gentle reset of the studio, shit like that. Just so it's a little bit less, or like basically a condensing of the whips so that they're all in one place. So that when I come back the following week, I can just like go. All right, safe drive. Don't text me while driving, please. I would feel very bad about that. This one needs a little bit more of a wedge cut. It's like fine on the one side and not fine on the other side. La 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 la. We'll ignore that. There we go. Yeah, so after this, it'll be prep for Otafest, like I said, which is the anime festival. I still don't know what exactly I'm doing, but I do think we should do some zipping grips. I think we'll be able to get some of those done, even with them being a new product. I think we should wrap on the mini. I need to just make a list. Again, wrap on the mini traveler slings and have a battle with these passport folders, I think. And maybe try and figure out a pattern for some singleton. Ugh, gross. I didn't think that Austin would have that bad of traffic. Good Lord. It's only noon. Or what time is it? It's like you're in Central Time, right? So, noon? 1? Good Lord. It's not even Friday. Although, yeah. Everyone always complains about the traffic in like Calgary. And then I'm like, well, it has nothing on Vancouver. And then I'm like, Vancouver has nothing on some other places as well. Still sucks. I'm not trying to like I'm not trying to say that it doesn't suck, but we're pretty all perspective, right? But the kids will be like, it's a traffic jam when we were like stopped at a traffic light or something like that. I'm like, no, we're just stopped at a traffic light. This is not a traffic jam, trust me. Traffic jam would mean that we're sitting here, not moving. Like, I can guarantee you have never been in a traffic jam in your life. Oh, God. Yeah, I can tell it's time to, like, take a break because it's like, my bum hurts. And it's going down my leg. So my leg is like, hey, so we should discuss the lack of movement. Or the, like, lack of movement. And then suddenly you go run a marathon, half marathon pace run. By the way, this program, so I've been chatting about the fact that this program that I use for the training is fucked. I don't know why. It was like, I said that I didn't do my long run on Monday, and it's like, good job, you did amazing. Thanks for subscribing, my dear. Thank you. I also always post the link to Instagram as well, so I'm Atelier Nikuzuki over there. So if you do lose me, I post it in stories every time I go live. And hint, there might be a contest coming up on Instagram with Ancient Arts Yarns. So make sure you're following both of us. Anyway, traffic starts on Thursday. Jesus. We get like that on the long weekend. That's what we get. And this, because I'm outside the city, we get a lot of it on the long weekend that way. Damn it. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with it. That it doesn't really matter. Say we're about halfway through the blue pockets, which means we're about a quarter of the way through this whole thing. So let's see where we get to here. Okay, and make sure that that wedge is correct. Yay! It didn't look correct, but it is. Woo! Oh yeah, the running program. It was like, you did such a good job, and it's like, if I overexceed, it's like, oh, you did shit. And it's doing the same thing to Dallas too. I'm like, okay then, calm down, Hal. Yeah, and just so you know, you won't lose me next week. I will be quieter because it's break time for a couple days, and then I'll be back for furious amounts of sewing for Otafest again. And then we don't have any other shows until July, which is fantastic because that means that we'll be able to focus in on a couple new items like the zip and grip. Maybe the Finn sling bag. Maybe I'll finally get that going. And a few other things that are on the list. Oh, I'm like, there's one other specific thing. The embroidery storage bag madness is the other thing. So the only thing with that one is I think I have to like bind it. And I'm like, I do not like doing binding. So we'll try new skills. Practicing new skills. Given that I hated welt pockets a couple years ago. That changed. Given that I couldn't do a drop-in lining 3 years ago, skills have changed. And I haven't tried to do binding for a while. So, like of any kind of proper amount. So. And there's a lot of binding in the zip and grip. The whole base of it is binding. So we're going to have lots of practice. Actually, I got a tip of like use a tiny little stapler actually to staple the binding in place. And so that's what we're going to try. It's worth a try. It wasn't an expensive tool. And I'm just like, you know what? If that makes my binding experience that much easier, that is what we're going to do. Because there's always something, even as a professional, that is in air quotes always, even as a professional, There's always something you don't like doing. Actually, that would be an interesting question to ask some of the people who are actually like in the professional atelier and things like that. Like, what is the thing you don't like to do? Like, what if you can avoid it for life, what would it be? Of course, you would make people really mad with some of those opinions, but like, there's always something that people don't like doing. Ooh, that would be a good reel for Caroline to do, because she's got staff and she could be like, all right, what, like, you could do the positive one and you could do the negative one. Like, what's one thing you love doing? And then a separate reel could be like, what's one thing you positively, like, if you never had to do it again, you wouldn't. It'd probably be pretty funny, actually. Or you could just keep it positive and be like, all right, what's the one thing that, like, if you could do this for the rest of time, what would it be? Pockets, still working on blue pockets. Hence the world weary sigh. It's always hilarious when like the cats or like the kids do it, especially the kids. It's just this like, oh, see, I love birthing bags. 100% it kills my hands, but I really do like turning bags way better. I now understand the purpose of binding, but when I was originally making bags, I was just like, hell no. And so it's just not something that I've ever had a lot of practice with yet. And so we're gonna practice now. That's what this summer is about, apparently, is bindings. Which is cool, because that means that I could probably add a couple of the other can-do patterns. Like what not the retro sling, but I think it's like the sandhill or something like that. The whole interior is like bound around the edge. So just another reason for another for the cylinder arm. All the binding coming. I don't need to keep justifying it to myself. I just need to make the money to buy it. Save my shekels for it. Plus, it's like, it is a fabric trip, essentially. So that's where the money's going this year. It's Japan. But maybe it's probably, so yeah, it's probably looking towards like next year. Or come sell me out. Come sell me out. And then I can do both. And then we can watch the panic. Oh yeah, dice trays. That was the other thing for OdaFest, is like cut and sew some trays. Whether they be dice trays, crafting trays, etc. I should track down my dice so that we can put the dice in it and then have a setup with like clips too. Yeah, that's fair. I can see the binding being very clean. It is also a very professional way to finish the bag, so I understand why. I just don't like it. Or I don't like doing it. But that is, okay, so that is the retro. Thank you. I think the sandhill as well also has the binding closure, although there's been lots of hacks to do it so that you're like able to do it as a turned bag. And the binding, I understand also the benefit of the binding is definitely structure more than even sometimes like making it easier to do things. So anyway, typically I just jump in with both feet and deal with it later. And that is what we're going to do this summer. Jump in with both feet. But I am going to try this little tiny attacher and see if it works better or not. Or works at all, really. Everything will survive. Actually, that does mean, though, that we're going to end up one pocket short. Oh, just wait until we're sewing the Sheenas. Curves? Curves. Actually, we're getting better with it because the Mini Traveler has curves. Ugh. Here's the thing. I used to tackle curves with, like, abandon. I was doing tablet cases, and it was just like, yoom. And for whatever reason, when I originally made the Sheena, I was perfectly fine. I got it just fine. And then this round of the Sheena, it was a bitch. Yeah, exactly. Little asshole curves. Sorry. I am trying to limit the amount of, like, gendered swear words. And whenever I do use the gendered swear words, I'm like, ugh, I don't like it. So, I'm trying to be cognizant of that. This might have actually been it right here. Now I'm just going to be searching for this, like, short one all day. Oh, well. We'll go in and we'll gently compare everything. I do have a good stack back there, so I'm going to clear it up in service of trying to find this one that is super short, because then we can sew the pocket into a different piece. Or just take it off because we subbed in the white anyway. Mostly because I also don't want to... anyway, whatever. Yeah, curves suck. The Sheena is a gorgeous bag though, so like it's worth it. But definitely I've got a couple hacks that I remembered that I did the first time around that I'm like, okay, we will do this again this next round, I guess. I don't know anymore. Whatever. Or that will be a swearing day. Just be aware. If you see Sheena in the title, in any, or in the description, or anywhere, generally going to be able to be sewn in without a lot of grief. Am I done? No. Are we going to get there? I guess. Look at it. I'll like pull it out and it'll like match up with something else that's a comparable size and it won't matter. And then we're still going to be short a pocket. That's probably how it's going to go. Oh, man. Yeah, the buffering can be brutal sometimes. Sorry. And so it's wild because I have a delay between when I'm talking and when you hear it. So I actually have my sound off because I cannot stand it. It's like I said that like 30 seconds. No, it's not 30 seconds. It's like I said that like 5 seconds ago or whatever. Aha. I think I found it. I found it. Nope. I did not find it. This feels dumb right now. And it shouldn't. Okay, I do think this is actually the one right here. Is it? Is it? Please just be easy. No, it's not. So that just means this one's tall. Fuck. Damn it. Should have been paying better attention. We're definitely gonna have to re-wedge to match. No, that is the one. What am I talking about? There it is, right there. The other one is a little bit short too, but this one is 1 inch too short. We cannot make that up in seam allowances. So there we go. So we're gonna take that pocket off of this one, and then we're going to go get me a caffeinated beverage, and then we're going to go and sew the rest of these pockets in while I drink my caffeinated beverage, because, hi. Am I running on Coke Zeros and coffee right now? Yes. Did I make sure that I chugged at least part of a water bottle yesterday? Also, yes. So I'll take that win. I always make the joke that anything like that, it's like, that is behind the paywall. Or I should start a paywall. There is a reason why I don't turn the small box bag handles on the stream if I can avoid it. I did actually have to turn one yesterday. I'm like, no. It's a little bit, there's just some things that don't need to be on the internet because they can be taken out of context. And yeah, everything on the internet can be taken out of context. And this is very obviously not something I want to be taken out of context. It's like, oh, that needs to go behind a paywall. That poor woman, though. That was honestly horrendous. Didn't they, it wasn't that they started buffering or like delaying the Oscars either, but it's because people were like swearing on prime time, wasn't it? Is that why they like started buffering the Oscars too? Right? Seriously, especially with kids in the house, it's like, all right. And again, they went absolutely feral over Easter weekend. And oh my God, they were so ready for school yesterday. It was just like, so generally they are. Some mornings we have a little bit more, less desire to go, I guess would be the better description. But yesterday they both just walked in and like, they're like, I'm here. See ya, Mom. Have fun. Like, especially the eldest was just like, doo doo doo. See you later. Although the youngest came, usually they like hide around the corner and then they like jump out and yell boo at their teachers. And yesterday they just walked in like super like chill and like da 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 da. And yeah, even the teacher was like, well, that was more chill than normal. And I'm like, yeah, weird, concerning. Oh my God, this stitch is like, this seam is very stuck. Yes, I'm tearing holes in the lining, but we're not using that lining anyway because it's too small. We'll use it for, something else. I don't know. I have so many scraps, so we'll use it, or so many scrap projects we can use it for something. Maybe, I was about to say triangle pouches, but it's too small for triangle pouches. Probably notions and needle stashers and stuff like that. So, okay, fixed. I'm going to trim this last one down, one more down. I have heard like razor blades and stuff like that, which makes sense. These are actually, I really like these seam rippers. They're from Michaels. There's the Loops and Thread brand. So I really enjoy those ones. It's just some seams just like are not into being ripped, I guess. All right. I'm going to pull all of the pockets that we've gotten the one seam done on up. Yes, we're going to have to turn them apart after this, but hey, we've only got one more set for the blue, which means that we'll have 46 or 48 like paw print fabrics. So let's actually, I'll do the last blue, then I'll go up and get my beverage, and then we'll come back down and do this work. And then. Yeah, I'll have to like look at it because it's like, my one thing is that I do still need stuff to be a little bit like, I definitely have cutting tools and cutting implements, but most of them are safetied, which is something that I do have to consider in the studio because the kids are down here, especially when I'm doing these show pushes. It's like, can be a significant amount of time on their iPads or fucking around with yarn. The youngest got a hold of a ball the other day and it was like, okay, so the idea behind it, adorable. The tool that they used, infuriating, because they took a ball of yarn and they made a spider web. I looked up and I saw them in here and I'm like, oh, that's bad enough. But I'm going to ignore it because honestly, I can't change it now. And I'm still sewing. Needed to get whatever I was doing done. I think it was like notions pouches. And then I went into their room because they've got like, so our basement is developed. I'm in like what would be typically a like, well, it could be like a living room space, an extra like a rumpus room space, that kind of idea. And they've got the bedroom that was developed in the back here. Now, what was, if you watch older videos, it's where I had my cutting room originally. Anyway, besides the point, I guess. The youngest had to run the spider web all over the room. Around all the tables, around their little chairs, around their desks, around their desk chairs, around the like... I did not lose it on them. But I've also not cleaned it up because I'm just like, well, that's a waste of time right now. But Dallas this morning was like, well, they'll come downstairs. I'm like, I haven't cleaned up the yarn. So unless you want to like take the time to go clean up the yarn before they get into the room, no, they cannot go downstairs right now because holy fuck. So that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to turn all the notions pouches and then we'll come down and work on this. I'm going to go get a Coke. I'll be right back, like 2 minutes. right, we're back. La 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 la. Okay. Pockets, pockets, pockets. We're almost halfway. Thank God. I'm like on the edge of my seat whether I'm gonna finish this or not. I will definitely finish a selection. It's whether I will finish everything that I currently have laid out for me or not. So after this, it'll definitely be a focus in after this on to small box bags as well. I think honestly we should go in and top stitch. Yeah, post lunch I'll top stitch small box bags. Said I was gonna run outside, but now it's like getting super windy. I'm like, damn it, I should have gone out right away. Oh well. I just don't want to. I'm like, I will take anything for an excuse not to run outside right now, I guess. So maybe it'll probably still be a treadmill run. I think I'll still stick to having it as like an extended lunch break. It's only supposed to be an hour. And then, and honestly, it's better for my sugars to run after lunch anyway. Feed, run, and then I can just chill for the afternoon. It's a feed myself whatever the fuck I want for dinner tonight, which is awesome because Dallas I think is planning to take the kids out. And then, yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll all be good. Tonight will be a late night. So there is that. Okay. This piece is a little bit too wide. So I'm just gonna trim and then we'll re-wedge the bottom. And then it'll just so it sits nicely in the bag. There'll be less, it's like a 1/4 inch. Jesus, never mind. It didn't need to be that desperate. Plus if I had actually, never mind. Yeah, if I'd made it at the turning seam, it wouldn't have mattered. Oh well, you wouldn't be able to tell what the turning seam is afterwards anyway. Okay, one. Okay, I gotta go in. Caroline's texting because we're working, like I said, on a collab. Definitely follow us on Instagram. Caroline is Ancient Arts Yarns, along with her team. Yeah, so she's just double checking with me to make sure that the stuff looks good. Oh man, looking at like the old labels, the round labels on the bottom of the Kato versus the like pill labels now, the pill labels look so much better. Go. Now. Next one. Do. Let's get this into the bag. All I want to do right now is go to Japan. Working towards Japan. Okay. Oh my God. Let's, like, fingers, all digits crossed that I can cross without bringing down bad luck is I don't want to get sick. Don't let us get sick. That's the big one. Just no illness when we go to Japan. No illness. No illness. I know it's like a losing battle with kids, but like seriously, no. Please don't let us get sick. Here we go. Ow, the wind's not that bad. Suck it up, cutie. Especially if I go running after lunch, it probably won't. Hopefully it won't pick up too much by then. I guess it is almost lunchtime. I'm not hungry. We will work until I'm actually hungry. And then we'll go out. Probably around 1 p.m. my time, so another like hour and a quarter. And then, like I said, it's about an hour-long run, so you can expect to see me back in the early afternoon, and then it's just head down, get our shit done. Actually, hopefully what I can get done before lunch is I can get the, oh no, we ran out of bobbin thread. Hopefully what I can get done, or the goal should be maybe before lunch, is getting all the pockets sewn. I think that's a good goal that can be within the grasp, or at least close. Get at least like one color of pockets done. There we go. If I can't get both, at least one color, preferably both, but you know. Oh God. Yeah. Ran out a while ago. Okay, when did it stop? Like halfway through the 2.5 pockets. 2.5 pockets ago. Good God. Get out of here. All right. Pull the thread back. Pull the thread back. Doom, 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 doom. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Go, 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 go. That is sounding like next time we change the bobbin, we should also change the needle. All right, well, the nice thing is that these are basically like the fabric has kind of already been punched into the other fabric, so it mostly just stays nice since we've already like basically set the pocket in some ways. Okay, next bobbin is winding. Always the next important step, wind your bobbins while you're sewing if you have a side winder. If you don't, then you have a domestic. I would suggest a separate bobbin winder. Actually, if I was still working on my domestic machine, that's what I would do. I've even with the side winder, I've considered getting a separate like bobbin winder just so you could sit down and wind a crap ton of bobbins. Could I just do that with it sitting beside me? Actually, yeah, never mind. I would need a separate bobbin winder. And it's not actually the bobbin winder that's like holding me back on that. It's bobbins. Bobbins. Maybe I should just like invest in like a dozen bobbins for each color. And then just like use them all up and wind them then as I'm working. Except I have a hard enough time remembering to do it when I actually need it. So who knows? Who knows if that would actually work. I doubt it would. But it would be kind of glorious just to like go from the stash. Okay, that's probably a little bit too far up, but I prefer too far up to not far enough. 1, 2. So these are the paw print pockets. Basically, if it has a cat or a dog this round, it is getting a paw print fabric. If it does not have a cat or a dog, it's getting a blue fabric. Hello, how are you today? We are currently working on pockets for Kato drawstring bags, which are, I make them from Japanese fabrics for typically for knitters and crocheters, but realistically the uses are only limited by imagination. If it is an illegal use, please just do not tell me. That's always the rule. Yeah, we're working on getting these prepped for Dawson Creek this weekend. I have a show up there in Dawson Creek, BC from 11 to 5 at the Curling Club on Sunday. This will be a lot more interesting when they're starting to able to actually see the fabrics, to be honest. Right now, it's boring. It's just the tedious work of getting prepped to actually have spectacular bags. That's what it is. It'll be spectacular after all the prep work, which is true of anything. Right. Console myself with that thought. I think we're about 1/3 of the way into the paw print fabrics as well. That's part of it, is there's just a lot of bags this time. There's like close to 50 small, 50 of each of these. So I'm like, la 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 la. Ooh, I'm listening to Spark of the Neverflame right now. It's really good. I can't remember if it's actually a standalone or like a series. But yeah, so far so good. Definitely some like intrigue going on here. I don't know what, but I approve. So far. It's better than Beautiful Things, which is the one that I just listened to. Beautiful Things was like ramped up to be this like super sexy like plot or like thing, and maybe I just went into it with like the wrong expectations or something like that, but it just fell flat. It was mostly because it was amped up to be like basically a reverse harem. Sweet, excellent, I'm down for this. She was apparently down for it too. But it took 80% to even get like a hint of it, and I'm like, the plot of this, no, give me the smut, because the plot is not the strength of this book right now. So bored. And then right when it could have gotten really good and spicy, and yes, for everyone involved, including her, it was like, all right, wait for the next book. So now I gotta decide if I'm going to like listen to the next book or not. I did listen to the audiobook. Maybe if I'd read the physical copy of it, it would have been better. There's a lot of factors in that, but there's also like a lot of hold noises that the author must have written. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't like hearing hold noises in books. So like, and it was weird. It wasn't like ahs and ums. It was like hems and like, please don't vocalize these. So that's where I think the a physical book would have been maybe better than the audiobook, but I don't know. I can't tell. Obviously, I finished it, but even at 80%, I really considered not finishing it. And then the spice came in. I'm like, okay, now I do have to finish. Anyway, I haven't had that issue yet with Spark of the Neverflame. I have heard really good things about it. I think it's on the low spice side. It's definitely fantasy. And probably it feels like what would count in excuse me, the romantasy genre, because apparently part of the romantasy genre, which I did not know when I was like, it's like kind of one that's just popped up, but it's like first person view is POV is first person point of view is like one of the big factors in determining whether it's fantasy romance or romantasy. I always thought the biggest distinction was the fact that it was like, okay, is this book focus romance, the happily ever after, or is this book focus fantasy with the side of romance? That's always how I kind of took it. But apparently the other portion of this is also the like point of view, and the point of view is typically supposed to be a first person point of view, which is very interesting to me. Because honestly, sometimes I have a hard time with the first person versus third. Mostly because I think most of what I read as a kid and like young adult and everything like that was third person. Which means that like you are watching the character. You are outside their body, not inside, like Mary suing, pretending that you are the character. Eyes and everything like that. Yeah. Anyway, I would also count romantasy personally. This is not official, but I would count romantasy in the new adult category that used to exist. It's spicy and fun and like you're just dipping your toes into reading that sort of thing. And you don't want to deal with like as much of the middle-aged drama that does tend to show up in a lot of the adult books, which I think is why I like actually reading the Regency novel, like historical romances and stuff like that, is because it's like there are stakes, but like the romance genre is that it's always a happily ever after, whereas that is actually another distinctive factor I think of romantasy, is it's not guaranteed that there's going to be a happily ever after sort of thing. So anyway, it's been a whole discussion happening in the book community. It's been interesting to watch. And as an English major, it's extremely interesting to watch. And someone who's like an avid reader. So like a prime example of romantasy right now is the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros. So there's others as well right now. And why I kind of think that this romantasy is that edge of new adult is the fact that, like, if you took the sex out of Fourth Wing, it would be a high, like a teen book. It would be a YA novel, basically. So higher teen, like I would say like 15 plus, especially if you remove the sex still, because there's still quite a bit of like dealing with adult themes. But what pushes it into the adult genre is the explicit sex. So that's where I'm at with it too. Anyway. Blathering on. Spark of the Neverflame's been really good so far. I'm not even that far into it and I'm already enjoying it. Blah, 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 blah. Also, Jay Kristoff has almost finished the third book in the Vampire Empire trilogy. So I'm going to hold off on finishing or reading Empire of the Damned. It's been sitting on my bedside for like months, and I even have the audiobook, and I'm just like, at this point, I'm just gonna wait for the last. What I'll do is once there's a release date for the third book, I will go back in and I will read both of them, because I haven't read Empire of the first one, Empire of the Night, Empire of the Vampire, whatever the first one is, I can't remember the title. Empire of something. Whatever it is, and I'll reread it or listen to it, and then I will read or listen to Empire of the Damned, which is the second book, and then I will go, and then I can go straight into the last book of the trilogy. There we go. That's what I wanted to spit out. Ugh. I did not trust that I was going to get there eventually, because lots of times I don't. La 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 la. And then, yeah, we've got our next Smutty Book Club book. So we just did Phantasma and Enchantra. That's for like May. And then June's is Daniel L. Jensen's, oh God, A Fate Inked in Blood and something else. I can't remember the title of the something else because it's not released yet. I'm actually going to the release party. What I need to do is I need to order my book so I can get it picked up and signed there, actually. But she's a local Calgary author. She's actually got quite a few series. Apparently the Bridge Kingdom or something like that is like really good. So I'm excited to like dive into this author because she's got a big back. More caffeine, more caffeine. We're not halfway through yet. What did I say? I was going to sew in and like make all the, so we'll get everything sewn in, but I was like, I'll make all the pockets and then I'll go for lunch and then I'll go for my run. No, I don't think we're going to get pockets done before I need to go have some food. Damn it. We'll get them all installed into the bags, but I don't think we're going to get the next step done, which is like making the pockets. La la la, we'll just ignore that. It's all good. If we get everything done though, it'll be over 100 new items for Sunday. Good. Yeah, because after this, we need to also cut the leather. Felt like there was a cat behind me. Okay, never mind. Probably Remy sneaking around. Remy's my dead cat. But he likes to hang out sometimes. I swear I'm not crazy. And honestly, when he passed in the old house, I was like, he definitely hung around. And he moved with us for sure, because I caught him out of the corner of my eye for months in this new house, which is wild because he died in the old house. But yeah, he does occasionally pop in. I don't know why. Usually it's like moments of high stress, which is probably a good indication that I'm highly stressed, is that Remy is showing up. But yeah, maybe that was him. That was him. He's checking in. He's quality control inspecting again, just like the good boy he was. That's what he's doing. Okay, that is too large, so I'm going to trim it down. I know these pockets are pushing the limit of how thin they can be, so that's part of why I got to take the pocket fit with a grain of salt, but this fabric is too wide. There we go. So that means that we probably will have to trim down just a tick. Oh, not bad. Okay, that'll have been Dallas. They are having ice cream for lunch. Dallas is like, the lunch of champions. And I'm like, yep, that is a solid decision. We've definitely done ice cream for breakfast occasionally. Well, once. And we already, so the The invites went out for the little kitties. For the little kitties. Oh my God. No, for the kids, for the youngest's birthday party, which is not this weekend, next weekend. And we already got it. We already got an RSVP, which is super exciting. It's like, yes. I've never heard of this little person, but apparently they're always talking about our youngest. So I'm like, sweet. Alright. Let me just make sure that like I am still live, because I might be small t traumatized by the fact that the stream dropped yesterday. Just like, I'm out of here, see you later. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this to me? It's a little bit of a riff on, there's a set of skits by Sesame Street, and it's Cookie Monster and Gonger, and they're running a food truck. It's adorable. But of course, Cookie Monster's Cookie Monster, and so every episode he eats one of the ingredients that is like integral to whatever they're craving, or like, well, or whatever gets ordered from them, sort of thing. Anyway, and so Gonger is always like, Cookie, why you do this to me? So just know that that is the energy that I'm channeling when I say that sort of thing. Why you do this to me? Especially when it's like, that is not anything that I can control. It's like, okay, so the stream dropped. Ooh. What, like, yeah, we just restarted it. Whatever, not a big deal. Ooh. Apparently the zoo is going to start actually checking your ID with your when you're going in with your like passes. They've never done that before, but Dallas just said that that's what they're going to do for the next bit. And apparently they're actually working on an app so they can get rid of the cards, which I would appreciate. I understand the need for cards for some people, but honestly, a smartphone pass would just be easier for us. Rather than having to like transfer the passes back and forth. So this is the first time that we've encountered this, of him going with the kids by himself. But like, yeah. Okay, get all of the pockets in before lunch. Then we'll come and make the pockets after lunch. And a run. And a thing. And a do. Actually, yeah, that works the best. So I'll get all the pockets in. I'm mapping out the timing, because I'm like, okay, so when do I have my afternoon coffee so that I'm not up until 3 a.m. Because I don't want to be up until 3 a.m. I might need to be up until 3 a.m. Actually, tonight is not the night to be up till 3 a.m. because I got that goddamn 10-miler tomorrow. I was like, yeah. Anyway, so it's like, time the coffee so that like I have it in time, so that we're also not up until like stupid o'clock. So that means that actually, yeah, heading out for lunch and the run around 1 works, because then I'll be back around 2:30 at the latest. I can make coffee. I can bring coffee downstairs and have it with a nice little cakey snack. Cake is always good after runs. It's my favorite time to have cake. Ask Dallas to get me a piece of cake tomorrow after my long run. Get me some carrot cake from Coffee Traders. Please. No latte, because lattes are good, because that's calcium and protein right there. Oh, I can do a little like protein milk espresso mix. That'll be tasty too. Yeah, yeah. Yum, yum. That looks like that is just a faulty wedge cut. Could be that the thing is... No, we're good. Okay. So the reason that we are also putting these pockets like the inch above the wedge is so that the seam allowance doesn't catch the pockets. So, ooh, that missed in the middle. Missed in the middle. Let's just add a little in the middle. Yeah, there we go. Good. Much better. Whee! Okay. Pop this back on. This pile is deceptive because it's very flat on the bottom. So I would say that we're halfway through, but there's like, actually we might actually be halfway through now. What's our judgment here? I'm not counting. We're just gonna do. So whenever we finish attaching the bottoms of these pockets to the interiors, that's when I'll head out. And then I'll be back in the afternoon. I will actually be back. I know I said I was gonna be back yesterday, and I just, by the time we got home and I got downstairs, I was like, I'm toast. Toasty toast toast. Because I was going to try and get all these pockets, or at least a good portion of these pockets, into the bags last night. Obviously, I got some of them done. So I'll sleep in the truck. So they were in their PJs at least. But I was not anticipating 9 to be like he didn't get to the gate until like 9:45. So here we are. Chilling in the cell phone parking lot. I at least realized that before, because I checked on his flight before we left the house. So I knew. So I picked up some more work to bring with me. Because I was like, okay, well, notions pouches aren't really enough work. So that's why all of these got like, these all got trimmed in half while we were like chilling in that parking lot. But what a mess. And then he said it was absolutely useless for him to stay over that late. And it's like, okay. So next year. So apparently these are supposed to be like alignment meetings between the crews. I thought it was to do with his like upcoming turnaround for the plant, which would have made sense because his upcoming turnaround is coming. But apparently they're supposed to do these like quarterly alignment meetings, and they're all like, that's too much. They're going to keep like a list, apparently. And if the list gets over a certain amount, they'll have an alignment meeting sooner. And if not, they'll just meet in April every year. And then next year, the other crew will alternate staying late. But they're also not going to do this like day and a half later than normal. It'll be like, okay, come in, do the alignment, get out that night. Which honestly would have been way better. Because in the positions they're in, they don't get overtime. Be a completely different case if they were getting overtime. So annoying. I think that is actually the worst part of this position. There are a lot of perks, but the fact that he doesn't get overtime, even though he stays over, is like, really pisses me off. It's like, come on. All right. Okay, we're almost there, actually. I just looked at the actual amount of, like, lining, and we're almost there. We're so close. The workflow of this space, by the way, the only thing I need to figure out is, like, what to do with this stuff as it's, like, in process, but it's not done. I think I need to clear out that, so we got all those scraps in that cart. I I think we need to clear that out into an actual like shelf. Yeah, I think we do that. And then we can like put them into that based on like what steps they're at. So like all these pockets could go on one shelf. And all the exteriors could go on another shelf and like all of that jazz. I think that's going to be the best move there. That'll be something that gets figured out though. Like this is why it's like, okay, I'm happy with this layout finally. I love facing the window. Finally. And like the workflow of this is like the stuff that we pull from and then they sew, but I just need that like next step because this desk has to have what it's set up on. Like I need a space for my coffee and like it's where the serger's set up. I guess we could always move the serger up and down, but like it's actually a pain in the butt to reach over there. This faces me the right direction. So I think that's why the cart in the middle might be better. Or just correctly utilize my laundry basket that I have for all of this and the bins that are technically supposed to be for the whips as well. Just don't overcommit next time, Katie. And if you're yelling at me about that, yeah, I know. I know. I'll do better. Maybe. Probably not. I'll probably jump in whole hog on it on the next new thing and it's like, God damn it. You know it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen. That's half of the fun of this live stream is it's just like, all right, buckle in for chaos. But we are working through a lot of the stuff that was in bins at the beginning of the year. So, because we did actually get everything. I think we only missed 3 large box bags. And those were for legitimate reasons of, I don't know where the fuck their handles are. I think I actually tracked down the one that was really missing the other day. So that's good. But the rest of it is like, yeah, we got them done. Now we do have some backlog now. We'll work through it. It'll happen. I want to clear out some of the older bins first, like the ones that have the Sheena and the partially finished obi bags and stuff like that. I think that is a top priority. First, especially with Omatsuri coming up, actually. So Omatsuri is the Japanese Canadian, or Calgary's Japanese festival. There we go. I'll be there both on the Friday and the Saturday because Dallas is home, which is exciting. And then, yeah, it'll be good. It'll all be good. Okay. I'm going to say we have 10 to 15 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh shit. That's a half. Okay, 1 second. I might be on a half anyway. Okay, so there's 7.5 left, which means that there should be like 15 pockets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, well that works out even better, is that we're less than we have interiors. Okay. Does that mean that we had an extra interior and I didn't quite have to freak out as much? Yes. Did it work out? Yes. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, we'll get these done probably by, I would say 12:30 at the latest. And then we'll go through that whole cascade that I don't need to go on about ad nauseum. And then what are we going to do when I get back? I kind of want to see if that small box bag trick that I saw works first. Because we know how to sew the pockets into these. It's straightforward. It's all straight seams. It's just got to get done. What? Okay, yeah. So what is left on the Kato? We need to make pockets. Because this is only the first step. Now we got to sew the actual pocket lines. And then we need to sew the interior together once the pockets are sewn. And then we need to wedge everything, which doesn't take that, well, okay. It takes a while when we have 46 bags, but it doesn't actually take that long in the grand scheme of things. And then we need leather for handles, and then we need to smash them together. The small box bags need to be top stitched, as do their handles. And then we go from that to doing the wedging. I'm hoping what we can do is that the new wedging method will just mean that I can just go and it'll all be fine. And the end seams need to be sewn on them, so we'll need the twill cut for them. So we do want to top stitch everything because then I can match up the twill as desired, sort of thing. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. So that still doesn't, I still haven't decided what I'm doing next. I think we should sew, I think we should top stitch small box bags. Yes, 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 yes. Let's top stitch small box bags. Which means actually I will get these pockets in, and then maybe I will top stitch the white handles at least, because I was leaning towards not going, like leaving the stream until like 1. We can make that work. Almost done, almost done. I am mentally jacked out. Next week I should start all my processes to get my name changed. Yeah, actually, yeah, that is a good time to do that because I need to get my passport before we do anything for Japan, actually. Really. Screw that up a little bit better. It's just there. Those were very unmatched. So now they're better matched. Three more, three more, three more. Then the top stitching for the other stuff. Doon, 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 other stuff. Small box bags, that's what I mean. Doon, 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 doon. Okay. Also too tall. All right, we'll do the trim down here for this one. And then we'll do the trim up of the wedge, just so that they're more even. Jesus. And then moving on from that. Excellent. Okay. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, there we go. Three more. Three more. Three more pockets, 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 three more pockets. God. Okay, yep, these. Okay, so two more. We have one spare. These are all over the place. So let's even them up here to get them just easier to sew. Honest to God, at this point, that's what it needs to be. Please be easier to sew. Okay, what if they lined up top here instead? There we go, that actually looks better. Trim the bottoms, and then just make sure that the wedge matches after that. Good. Okay. Okay, so that is the line right there. I can actually see where we need to trim. Like that. Even up our wedge. Wedgie, wedgie, wedge. Wedgie, wedgie, wedge. Boom. Boom. No? Yes? Maybe? Clip? Yay, we did it. Okay. Last two. Last two. Last two. Do, do, do. Yay, yay, yay. Yay, yay, yay. Da, 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 dum. Da, na, 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 na. Da, na, 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 na. Da, na, 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 na. Alright, I don't know where Bohemian Rhapsody came from, but alright. We're here. We're here. We're almost done. Last pocket. Last pocket. Okay, now, oh my God, we ran out of bobbin thread. Right on the last pocket. Okay, that was a very dramatic time to have a stretch, but it was also like, it's stretch time because we're finished the pockets. Okay. Swap the bobbin, swap the bobbin. We should also swap the needle. Damn it. I did say that I was going to do that with this next one, and since we are going... no, we're good. Never mind. We're actually good. Okay. All right, bobbin. I'm like, what are we doing? Bobbin, bobbin. I gotta turn this back down, back down. There we go. Ding, ding. Sewing, 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 sewing. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna go in here like this. Come on. Now turn it back up to top stitch. And all our light stitch bags are here. We also have the black top stitching bags as well, but we'll start with these guys. We're gonna start with the handles because they're just, actually I am going, never mind. I was like, I'm just gonna go from here. But no, we're gonna trim this because I just realized the handles have 2 rows, so yay. Whee! All the interiors are a third of the way done. Half? Half. No. Third, because we have to sew pocket strips on both sides. And then we gotta smash it together. And then we have to wedge it. So we're 20% on interiors. Third of the way done pockets. Okay. And there you go. Oops. No, get under there. Thank you. Just sounded like it was having issues, but no, we're good. Okay. Nope, we are having issues. Never mind. It's like, it sounds like the bobbin's throwing a fit. And it didn't throw a fit, it just broke. Excellent, excellent. Ew. Yeah, there's like a whole mess of thread here. All right. Weird. Fixed, but weird. Okay. In, please. Thank you. There we go. Okay. Come on. Pull the thread. Okay. Nope. Should have changed the needle, apparently. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, it's like leaving birds' nests. Okay. Birds' nests, boo, 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 birds' nests. Ugh, what a mess. Okay, there we go. Concentration. Radio silence. Sorry. I'm like, alright. Get all this red freaking picked out eventually. And should actually, no. I'm like, we should clean out the feed dogs. No, we will clean out the feed dogs later. But we definitely need to change this needle. Oh yeah, there's a little like, it feels okay, but there might also just be like a little like microscopic kind of hook on it. So swap it out. Okay, new needle in. Make sure that shaft is facing the right direction. There we go, like that. All right, there we go. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Nope, this bobbin is just angry. Jesus. Okay, this tells me it is time to go do all the things that I was just chatting about. Lunch, run, and then come back to the machine and it should have resolved itself by itself. So let's just double check this and see. Let's try it on this one. There we go. Okay, never mind. Continue. At least get the handles done. Do need to like seam rip this out again because it all bird's nest on the back. Yay. It will get sewn into the bag, so I'm not too worried about the like one portion of it, but this does need to be resolved a little bit more than what it is right now. Better. Yay. Get the handles. Get the handles. Get the handles. Done, done, done. soda on the other side. Yay! Okay, there is all the small box bag light handles done. So now it is lunchtime and run time and caffeination time. And I'll be back this afternoon to start wrapping up on more things. So I'll chat with y'all.